Hey, BG.
Hey.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
I'm about to feel even better right now. Sit up straight in an upright position. We're gonna take 3 deep breaths. Just follow my lead, okay? Put your arms here. Just hold them like cuss, yeah. And then while we're taking these deep breaths, if your mind tends to wander somewhere else, just open your eyes and then refocus with your breathing.
Okay.
But we're gonna be cool. You ready?
I'm
I think
ready.
You got this.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Release with a sigh. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Release with a sigh. One last time, let's make this count. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Release with a sigh. Welcome back. It's your girl, Jackiie LA, and you guys are now tuned in to Entertainment Therapy. And I got somebody really important with me today, BG Knocc Out.
What's happening?
Are you ready for this interview?
Let's go.
It's time to dig deep, right?
Let's go.
We're gonna change the culture.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Hey, BG.
What's happening, Jackie?
I feel good. How did you feel just doing that, like, slight meditation?
It was nice.
We just did 3 deep breaths, but like, have you ever done it?
I wanted to go to sleep. No. I wanted to go to sleep because I'm kind of tired. I just came from LA. So.
I know you tried to low-key almost try to bail out. I wasn't having it. I'm so happy that you came though.
Like, I'm one of them type of people that I hate doing what I don't feel like doing.
Right.
Like, I really do, especially like if I'm tired. But I came out for you.
I love you for that. I really love you for that. But that's why the meditation helped.
For sure.
So we can center ourselves, you know what I mean, and align with our energy, because I know you tired, but
Absolutely.
I'm pretty upbeat right now. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna transfer.
You're always upbeat though.
I'm gonna transfer some of this good energy to you. But BG, it is a pleasure to have you on Entertainment Therapy.
Thank you for having me.
And we are gonna dig in the process, in the walk, in the life of you finding your faith.
Okay. Let's go.
So BG, we gonna take you back. We gonna go back. Original baby gangsta, Compton, California.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, growing up in Compton.
It was awesome. Like, when I was a kid, Compton was a little safer, you know? You were able to go, like, all throughout the city on your bike and meet friends, like, in different neighborhoods and things like that. The childhood was really, really nice. It was like once I became a teenager when everything started changing.
So when did you actually engage and involve your life into the street life?
Well, my whole family was involved, so I was born into it. So, like, when I came into this world, my people were already entrenched in all that stuff, yeah. So
you didn't, like, really have an option? Like, was it no role models in your family to do something else? Or it's like, it was kind of like, this is what you about to do?
Not in my family, no. But outside of my family, yeah. But it was people in the neighborhood that, you know, they saw kind of the direction that we were heading in because of our family, and they would come and get us and try to introduce us to things outside of what we knew and stuff like that, but that was about it, yeah.
It pretty much didn't work out for you.
Nah.
So from the whole growing up into a family that's gang affiliated, at what point did you realize, like, I can do something else? Because you did eventually get involved in music.
Well, music was always a part of, you know, who we were, because my mom used to play, you know, all the oldies and stuff like that when I was a kid. So on the weekend, she would, like, clean the house and send us outside, you know what I'm saying? But she would be blasting the music all through the house, Marvin Gaye, Delphonics, all that type of stuff. So music was always around, but 1986, when Eazy came out with Boys in the Hood, that's what kind of sparked it in me, yeah.
And then you guys became really good friends.
Absolutely.
And how did that transpire?
It was some people that watched us grow up that he was tight with. So before he even got into music, he was a drug dealer.
Okay.
And they were drug dealers.
Right.
So once they heard that I was rapping, me and my brother Dresta, they pulled up on the block one day and was like, y'all be rapping? We was like, yeah. It was like, spit something for us. We rapped for him. It was like, tomorrow we going to the studio.
Wow.
And I was like, whatever, because people didn't told me that before, you know?
Right.
So I didn't take him serious, but Dresta, he was fresh out of CYA, of Youth Authority.
Okay.
He didn't have nowhere to go, so he was home. So when they pulled up, he took him to the studio. He came home about 2, 3 in the morning, and he had music with Eazy-E. And he was like, come in here. He was like, come in the kitchen.
What?
Went in the kitchen, he brought the radio, put the cassette in, and played like these songs that he recorded with him. And I was like, whoa. And they was like, we going to the studio tomorrow. He was like, you better be here. And then I went to the studio the next day.
And then your life just kind of changed.
Yeah.
From
yeah,
that
like
point.
overnight, yeah. Definitely.
So do you feel like sometimes like your destiny can be like by luck? Or
I just think you don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, how can you see the future? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think that's all in God's hands. So it's like, you really never know your outcome in life, really, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's deep, because like even with meditation, like what we do, like in meditation they say just focus on the now.
Right.
Like everything's a now, like focus on your breathing, try not to focus about the past nor the future, present. Just being present. And for you, like you actually got to experience that in your everyday life, you just being you.
Yeah.
And then
that's all I know.
Boom, you know what I'm saying? Like after that, like how did that impact your life?
I mean, it was crazy. Like I was in high school, so just imagine being in high school and then your life changed so dramatically. Right. It's like I couldn't even go back to school because it was too much attention. Like the teachers got all weird with me. It was like just like being too, you know what I mean? Just too overbearing in classroom, smiling at me all the time, bringing people in. It's like, this is him. I'm like, yo, that shit was like, it drove me a little crazy.
Like, was it like, did you feel traumatized?
Yeah,
or
it made me feel
anxiety?
like, it made me feel this big, like on the inside. Like I cringed at it because it was like, just yesterday I was a normal person, you know, and I just had the regular people that I talk to and deal with, to everybody was looking at me. And I was like, I didn't like that.
Wow, that's something that you can actually like teach a lot of people, because so many people seek fame.
Yeah, it's not cool. Trust me, it's not. I think fame is for the insane, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people seek fame. Mm-hmm. How was that fame experience for you?
I didn't like it. I don't like people watching me. I don't like attention like that. So that was the only thing about that I wasn't prepared for. Right.
Do you feel like a lot of people who seek that much attention is trying to fill in some type of void within themselves?
Yeah, and I think a lot of them are mentally ill, to be honest. I'm dead serious, yeah.
Because if you can explain fame, like explain it. Like for someone who's never had, like I've been popular, I say, growing up, like in high school and stuff, but that's different.
Fame makes you weird because it's like, you don't know why people want your attention. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, right. It's like everybody, like most people aren't genuine about how they approach you and why they're, into what you are or whatever. So it's like, it just makes you weird. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you always feel like somebody is watching you, then how are you being yourself? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the same as like being in your house by yourself and you just the person that you are, right? But when people is watching you, it's like you always on point. You always trying to make sure, like how you said, when your chain was twisted, your earring is your hair,
right.
All of this type of stuff. It's like, it's too much.
Right.
It's too much. Like, I don't like it.
So when you went through that whole experience, was it something like you were like, what did I get myself into? Or did you know,
I really had no clue. Like, I really, really didn't. I just liked to do music. And I didn't know that, all that attention. Because just imagine, this is a 17-year-old kid. I'm in LA. I'm driving down a certain street at 10 o'clock at night, and a car pulls up. Hey! And I come from the gang life.
Right.
So I pulled my gun, I was hiding it. They're like, no, we fans. I'm like, hey, you can't pull up on me like that. Right. I've been shot before, you know what I mean? Like, so it was difficult. It was a difficult thing for me to navigate, for sure.
So how did you deal with it? What are some coping mechanisms that you utilized during this process?
I just dealt with it. I can't really tell you like exactly no particular way. It was just something I had to go through. I just went through it and try to stay alive.
Do you think so back in the day, it's like, I feel like a lot of young celebrities or people who experience a mass amount of fame, they didn't have no outlets or resources.
I think now, like, it would be a nice thing that if they would counsel celebrities, like new celebrities before they come out, give them some type of counseling so they can know what to expect. Because it's not something, I don't think, most people don't know what that feels like. If you ain't never been famous, you don't know what it feels like.
Right.
And it's crazy. It's some crazy stuff to deal with. Like, people start stalking you. Like,
oh, shit. Yeah. Have you experienced that?
Hell yeah.
What's the worst thing besides like you not knowing who is who and you gotta like protect yourself? Like for instance,
Just
you pull the
people
gun
getting
out.
your
Like,
phone number, people tapping, like now social media is out, people tapping into your social media and just constantly, you know, they putting up fake pages and they're using other people, they'll follow your people to get at you. Like it's a lot of crazy stuff that comes with that. It's a lot of madness.
That's a lot. And you've seen the whole, like you've seen things shift.
Absolutely.
Because you're in the era where there was no social media.
Right.
Now there's social media.
Yeah, it's a different world, yeah.
It's completely different. Yeah. Before we like even go into the next subject, I want to talk about your traumas. Okay. Because you did mention being shot.
Yeah.
You were in a gang. What other things did you face that you feel like you're still traumatized? Or you still are not healed from?
I was molested by a lady when I was like probably 6 years old. Wow. Yeah. Like yep. So my mom used to work, and my uncle had this girlfriend, and she used to watch us, you know what I mean? And it's so crazy because she was so different when my mother was there, and then as soon as my mom leave, she would change the whole floor of the house. She would turn the lights down, turn his music on, start drinking, and then she would, you know, proceed to touch us and stuff like that.
So not just you by yourself?
No, me and my brother. Me and my oldest brother.
Did you guys ever come out and talk about it?
I just told my mother like maybe 2 years ago, and my uncle.
That's something you lived with for a long time.
Yeah, because like for me, I held it in because my mother was getting older, and I didn't want her to, you know, I didn't want to break her heart or make her feel like she didn't protect me or something like that. So I was kind of like scared to tell her.
Did you view women differently as you grew up, like because of that happened? Like were you afraid of women, or did you feel like you couldn't trust women?
I think it made me a certain type of way that I didn't understand until like in recent years. Like it kind of helped me realize the type of relationships I had with women, like over time, you know?
If you can explain, like what were some things, like what type of relationships did you have?
Just not really stable. Like I really didn't give people a chance. It's like once I felt a certain type of way, I walked away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we digging. I'm trying to kind of like get to the root. Like here, a 6-year-old, you don't know what's happening.
At all.
But the time when you started to be sexually active on your own.
I started very young, and I think that was a result of it.
Like this is a feeling. So you started to know a feeling. You felt different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think it's different for men who are molested than women?
Yeah, I just think men, you know, we hide so much, you know, so it's like, it's a lot of men that just don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Right. But I think it happens a lot, to be honest with you.
And they don't talk about it.
And they don't talk about it because men don't like to show that side of themselves.
When did you finally feel comfortable? Like what made you feel comfortable to open up to your mom?
It was just something was burning inside of me, and I was just like, I gotta tell her, you know what I mean? Like, cause you know, my mother had her own view about the way things were.
Right.
And there was things that when she wasn't around that she just didn't know. You understand what I'm saying? And so I had to enlighten her. I just felt like she needed to know. At a certain point.
I feel like a lot of us have been through certain things and we just don't know how to talk about it, but I feel like eventually it got to get out, because you said that's something you've carried from
for a long time.
And you're barely opening up about it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you feel a sense of relief, like something's
Yeah,
off of
it was kind of, I just know like I still need to probably seek therapy as a result of it, but yeah, definitely, it was definitely a release for me.
And how long was that going on with you and your brother and the lady?
For a while. I mean, till my mom didn't actually need her to babysit us no more. So it was quite a while, yeah.
What mental illness do you think people like is in their mind to harm any child?
I have no clue, and I don't even want to know. Like I really don't. Like it's some things that I don't want to understand, and that's one.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, like you have your own kids.
Yes.
You have your own 6 kids. Does that make you really super overprotective about who around them, who's watching them?
I don't think you know how extreme I am. Like, I would kill somebody. Yeah, like.
He said, I will kill somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like, I feel like I'm starting to feel some type of way inside.
Yeah.
Because you would never expect it.
I know.
And I feel like that one trauma that happened, do you feel like you tried to cover it up with other things? So anytime you got hurt, did you
possibly.
cover it?
That's usually what people do. When you have unresolved trauma, it comes out in other ways. And that's what most people in the world are walking around with. And the reason why people are behaving in certain ways is because of that, because they're not really dealing with those issues, yeah.
Or they're not trying to figure out how to heal themselves.
Yeah, some people just don't know. I know a lot of Black people feel like we don't have access to certain things, counseling and people that understand us.
Right.
So it's just, you know, people just walk around with that.
That's kind of how I came up with this show, Entertainment Therapy. It's because I feel like, I was telling you earlier, we don't have an outlet for us.
Right.
That's why I was saying, imagine if we had something like this where people can talk about it comfortably and discuss it.
Right.
Back then. Like how you said, people that's newly stepping into fame, if they had something tool for them, like, this is what you about to get, can you handle it? Because our whole lives we've been oppressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they constantly put things in our face, whether it's from the movies, you know, to make us feel less than. So just imagine, as a culture, we already feel less than, and then we got our own personal problems that we got to deal with.
Yeah, we just got a lot of mess. Like, it's a lot of baggage, you know, dirty laundry that needs to be cleaned, you know? That's really what it is. We walking around with a bunch of mess and ain't nobody trying to figure it out, and that's the sad part. And I think, you know, this is a great thing that you're doing here because this is a step in the right direction, yeah.
Right. So for you to have this massive platform, because people tune into you. I've been watching your other interviews, even you on IG, everyone engages in you. Like, you have a very powerful voice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if you utilized it probably for the youth, you can change a lot of lives?
I mean, I would do what I can, you know what I mean? Because change really is about the person. So that person has to want to change. Because there's nothing you can say to a person to make them change. You can probably plant a seed, you know what I mean? But that person has to do the work.
Right.
Yeah.
This overall, like, in the hip hop era that we're in right now, what do you see that you feel like we need help in? What area do we need help in?
Everything. What do you think? You need help in everything. Like, I would say, beginning with the family life. Like, you know, if your family life is jacked up, then you're gonna take that out into the world. You understand what I'm saying? So we need help there first, you know, at home, I would think, you know, in my opinion.
What is it like? It's changed. Like, back in the day when you listen to hip hop music, it was more stories. You know, like, they're telling stories and they're venting a certain way. I sometimes, depending on the artist now, they're telling stories, but I feel like it's just catered to the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, it's like, it was more technical. Hip hop was more technical because you had to know how to rhyme. You had to know different rhyme patterns and rhyme schemes. Right. You had to know how to put a song together, meaning you had to have like a beginning, a middle, and an end. And now people are just, they talking. They just talking over music now. Like, it's nothing intricate about what they do now.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They got a beat on and they going along with the beat and just saying whatever. There's no, you know, nothing coherent about what they're talking about. Usually if you hear a hook today and then you hear the song, it don't even match. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think hip hop was more technical back then.
Okay.
You had to really know how to rap. Like, the rap today, if they was rapping like that in the 90s, they would get laughed at.
Right.
Like, honestly.
But you gotta understand that everything evolves.
I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Like, I'm accepting of it because, you know, from the 80s to the 90s, hip hop changed, right?
Right.
It was like it was more diverse in the 80s. Like, everybody from every region had their sound and whatever. Now it's like everybody's trying to sound like the South. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then in the 90s, gangster, like, they called it gangster rap, right? And then everybody was trying to gravitate towards that because the music was selling. Right. So people was like, if I want to sell records, I got to talk about guns and this, that, and the other. For you and your career, like, you guys talked a lot of violence. That's all we knew. Yeah, okay, so in my generation, I noticed, like, when these youth are promoting violence, it's so looked down upon, but then if I go back and watch all these videos, you guys did a video, it was DPG Killer. Right. That was very, like, subliminal, sending out a message, like, kill, F you, you know, like, fuck y'all, like, all of that. Like, we meant it, though. Like, and you meant it, but don't you guys think that that's kind of where it come from? I understand. Now, I ain't gonna say that's where it come from. I think today, drugs are, you know, kids doing drugs is a major thing. They doing the type of drugs we didn't do. We used to, like, smoke weed and drink. Now these guys are on liquid heroin, they popping these crazy pills. And so I think because of that, they're so entrenched in it that they can't even see past, you know, the culture that they're stuck in.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think they're dealing with something different than we did. Like we had the gang thing. The gang thing kind of like...
It's coming back, kind of.
Not
a
really.
little bit. You have these rappers from, I mean, okay, but you have like rappers coming up from different hoods. And,
right.
You know,
I think
it's still
now
there.
it's a fad. I think they're using it because they think they have to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? To make themselves look like something.
Okay.
In the music, but it's nothing like what I know. It's nothing.
So what would your advice be to some of these young people that is coming up, like the young men?
I would tell them to first stop doing drugs. Like, stop doing drugs first, because you can't really hear. You can't hear if you always on something.
Right.
How can something penetrate your soul if you always drugged up?
Wow, that's true. Because you out of it. I don't do any type of drugs, by the way. I've had my share back in the day, and I can admit that I was kind of like all over the place, made hella bad decisions, or you know what I mean? But then sometimes I feel like I have powers. Like I felt more creative, you know? But I just think it's a mental thing overall.
It is. It is. It's all mental.
Because now that like I live like this clean life, I feel like I'm even more powerful.
I feel the same way.
So let's talk about that, because you spent some time away, incarcerated.
Yeah.
How did that change your whole dynamic and your viewpoint on life?
It changed everything. It really helped me to grow up, to be honest, because I had to come to a point where I had to make a decision, like, did I want to leave the same way I came, right? So you had this young dude, came straight from the streets, was out there doing the most, and then I was going to be in this place for a certain amount of time. I was going to come out a completely different age, 23 to 44 years old. So I definitely couldn't be that 23-year-old walking out of there. So I just had to grow up,
In prison, what is the most powerful thing that you feel like you have learned, that you felt like maybe that was part of your journey, that you had to go there to learn that one thing?
The most powerful thing that I learned was that I didn't want to be there, especially for the rest of my life,
Right. Mm-hmm. Did that have some type of damage? Did it do any damage to you while you were away?
It was hectic, because prison, like level 4, level 3 prison is so intense. There's always these threats every day. Every time you wake up and come out your cell, there's threats of racial violence, black on white, black on Mexican. So it's just intense. You always on 10 every day. So, you know, it does something to you on the inside. Yeah, it was extreme.
Why do you think that hate is created?
I think the correctional administration, they keep that going because it's job security for them. So they need that to happen, so they can build more prisons. And you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, because these people who work at these facilities, they live in these little bitty towns where the prison is. It's only like one strip of a street, and then the rest is houses. They don't really have a life. They're in jail with us as much as we are. Right. Do you understand? So they become criminal minded also.
It's corrupted. The system's very corrupted.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of people, when they go away for a while, they're incarcerated, they have different religious preferences. For you, how did you find your new faith?
Just really, I went within. I was just trying to find myself. And so what I did first was I just started learning about me. I started learning like history, like African history, Black history. And that just sparked a hunger for knowledge inside of me. And then one day, the last time I went to the hole, I came out, they kept taking my time. So I was gonna end up doing more than the time that I was originally supposed to do.
Right.
And so the last time I came out the hole, I walked on the yard and I just looked around, and I was looking at everybody in their element doing what they were doing. And most people was doing the same thing that they did prior to coming to jail.
Right.
Except, you know, just to a limited extent, right? Smoking weed, drinking, gang banging, talking madness. And then when I seen the Muslims, they just had this thing about them, like the way they were. They were soft-spoken, they were always smiling, and they just were shining in a different type of way. And so like once I start working out with them, talking to them, and just asking questions and stuff like that.
You studied, right, in a previous interview, you spoke that you studied different religions.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is something that settled with you where you felt comfortable with?
Yeah, I just think, like, I really think that God chose you. I don't think you choose God. Because how can you understand something that was totally foreign to you?
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless God opened you up in a certain type of way, right?
Do you think any religion is wrong? Because I feel like I don't really, everybody has different faiths and different beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like to say, okay, you believe in this, you're wrong, this is wrong, because I feel like what works for them works for them. So if you say God chose them, do you feel like God chooses people in different walks?
I wouldn't say nobody's wrong, because I think that's wrong to say, right? What I will say is that most religions in the world come from a pure place. And I just think over time, when men get their hands on it, they always spoil stuff.
Right.
So like most religions in Islam that we know of come from something pure, but over time they became corrupted.
But every religion, they're similar in certain ways. Like it's like one source. I feel like there's one source energy, but there's these different stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's one energy that we're all craving inside.
That's just the thing. That's something innate in man. Like so in the Holy Quran says that when God created Adam, he took all the spirit from his loins, right? All the spirits that were going to come into the world from his loins. So in pre-eternity, he asked our souls, is he our God? And all the souls said, yeah, without even questioning it. So I think once we come into the world, we all seeking something higher than ourselves, and we go about it in our own
different ways.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, we don't choose God, he chooses us.
He chooses you.
And then from there, it's kind of like you figure out.
From there, you got to listen. Now you got to, like once you hear him, you should start paying attention more.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so serving God is about putting your own thoughts and whims and ideas to the side to do what he wants from you.
Right.
You understand?
Do you feel like when you found your new faith that as far as your career, did it change like your perception on the rap game for you being a rapper? Because you still do music. I see, so you just did a video not too long ago.
Yeah.
How is that now that you're walking in this new faith?
I just I don't do music as much because like I believe that we're held accountable for everything that we say. So the Quran talks about how there's these two things on the side of us daily, and one on the right is writing the good that you do, the good that you think, and the good things that you say, and the one on the left is writing all the bad that you do, things you say, think. And so it's like, because of that, I kind of like I don't try to speak often. I try to listen more, yeah. So I try to be quiet, I try to be a little bit more quiet about it, but I still like the music, so it tugs at me. And then sometimes I find myself in the studio, doing my thing, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna really stick with that, like, for the rest of my life.
What else would you be doing?
Just business, like clothing, stores, and different things like that. Entrepreneurial things, yeah.
Overall, everything that you have done, are you happy?
Absolutely.
Do you feel at peace?
Absolutely.
But you feel like you still need to heal?
Absolutely.
From what?
Everything that I've been through.
Have you started the process?
Just talking to God. That's the only process that I have so far. It's the only process I have. I don't really have no counselor or nothing like that.
Do you think you need a counselor, or do you think
Absolutely.
You can heal within? So
Absolutely.
You feel like for some of the traumas that you've been through?
I do. You too, everybody. We
all need healing.
Absolutely.
We all need healing. That's good. So if you can tell everybody that's out there watching this, now that you're in this new walk, why is it important to heal?
It's important because it's important to heal because in order to feel whole, that's the only way. In order to feel your humanity, that's the only way.
Right.
It's the only way. Because most of us think we grew up in America, right?
Right.
So we think the whole world is like this, and it's not. It's really not. There's certain people who grew up with both of their parents, they have more of their humanity than people who was in single parent homes.
Right.
And I found this out by traveling the world and just, meeting people and creating new friends in different places. Like, they don't have the same hangups that we do in America.
Right.
You know, these little petty attitudes and these little tit for tat things that we do. You know how you see all these memes and people be like these memes, and it's one meme that really bothers me, and people was like, this meme says like, my attitude depends on you.
Right.
That means you giving your control to another person.
Yeah.
And that's silly. That's a silly way to think, a silly way to be.
That's how I feel like about energy. Like I'm really big on energy.
Yeah.
And I can pick up on energy. I can feel energy. And sometimes we allow ourselves to allow somebody else to have control.
Yeah. Most of us are walking around allowing somebody else to control how we act.
Yeah. Until you center yourself.
Yeah.
And you like, you know, and that's something that I've been working on myself, is like, to where I'm in any situation, I want nobody's energy to move me. That's why I'd be like, you gotta be rooted and grounded in whatever you do.
That's healthy for sure.
You have to be rooted and grounded. So like, we went back in your past, we did the little dabble, we learned about some things that you feel like you were still healing from. Like overall, the concept of this show is entertainment therapy. How do you feel like entertainment therapy can help our culture? I
think with what you're doing right here, you know, like actually digging deeper than the surface, you know what I mean? And really getting to the center of certain issues. I think this is a step right here. Just talking about the real issues, you know what I mean? And as opposed to what you just, because you know, okay, entertainer, right?
Right.
But behind that is the person. So just getting to know the people, you know, like really getting people to open up and talk about real stuff outside of this surface stuff.
What is everybody chasing? If you could, like, I know you don't like really try to look into deep to all of that, things that you can't control, but
yeah,
what is it that you feel like people are chasing?
People are chasing emptiness. Like they trying to feel something that they don't even understand. You know what I mean? So they thinking money and fame is going to be the answer, and it's really not. It's really not.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think people really want to be whole, and they just don't know. It's like the world is telling them, this is how you get this is how you get this.
Right.
But it's not. It's a lie.
Right.
So I think people are really trying to fill like that void inside of them, but they just pursuing it in the wrong way.
So until they align with their passion and their purpose.
Absolutely. Until they align with their soul, like their selves, like until they learn who they are and always try to better themselves. Like we can all improve. I don't care how far you've gotten.
Right.
I don't care if you was a Buddhist monk and, you know, in a temple for 50 years straight. They're still trying to improve, because as long as you're here,
right,
you're human. You're gonna deal with human situations.
Right.
So it's more trauma to come if you live.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? You just got to keep going and keep dealing and keep pushing.
You have to believe.
You absolutely have to believe.
You have to believe. And with that being said, when you believe, you're finding your faith. That's how you eventually found your faith. You believed it was something bigger than you.
I think it found me. Yeah. Yeah, I see it a different way. I don't like to, you know, faith is such a big thing. God is such a big concept that you can't compartmentalize it.
Right.
It's bigger. It's way bigger than what we know. So like in Islam, we say that whatever you think God is, he's the opposite of that.
Oh, well.
Because he's too big. How can you
put him in like a box?
Yeah, in a box. That's ridiculous. The Almighty, the omnipotent. You don't even know what that's like. Right. You don't even understand. Like it's way greater than you.
So through your new faith, you found like you learned other languages.
Yeah, I learned Arabic. Yeah.
So can you say entertainment therapy in Arabic?
Entertainment therapy in Arabic. How would I say entertainment therapy in Arabic? No, I don't know. I don't know how I would say it.
How do you say I love you?
Ohibbuk.
Ohibbuk. Mm-hmm. How do you say heal?
Heal is sahih.
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 Sahih. That's it?
No, it's like a S. The S comes off like the word saw, right? So it's saw. Heh. Heh. Yeah, a hard H. Then you have to have a little air on the end. Sahih.
Sahih. It sounds like it, y'all, right?
Or Shifa. Shifa is a different one. So just say Shifa. Yeah, Shifa.
That's heal? Mm-hmm. Shifa. Listen, y'all, you are now tuned into Entertainment Therapy with your girl, Jackiie LA. And the one and only BG Knocc Out.
Thanks for having me.
Sahih.
Sahih. Assalamu alaikum. Ma'a salama.
And we are out of here. Stay tuned for another episode on Entertainment Therapy.
For sure. What up? This is BG Knocc Out. You guys stay tuned for my clothing brand, Hassani Unlimited Apparel. And you're now tuned in with Jackiie LA on Entertainment Therapy.
Thank you guys for watching. By the way, this episode was sponsored by Dr. Green's Holistic and Wellness Essentials. Dr. Green, how are you today?
I'm beautiful, Jackie. I'm beautiful. Yourself?
I'm amazing. But you brought us some goodies, so let's go ahead and get into these lovely products that you have up here. You have some Kool-Aid. Let's talk about this Kool-Aid and why is this Kool-Aid special?
Man, this Kool-Aid right here is beautiful because, especially for those who don't like to smoke flowers, because in actuality, it has I do the half wet plants and the half dry plants. And the reason why I do that because I naturally made it just to get it in your system. The THC is good to have it in your system because it fights all things that's impurities in your body. Okay. So it's like, and it don't give you the effect of like edibles. It gives you the effect of like, it's a mellow effect. So you'll be like, wow, am I high? Right. So, if you got to ask, you high. But it's not for you to be out of your mind. It's just basically to get it in your system. Now, this is good for those that smoke when you want to go to work and stuff, you want to drink and you want to feel that mellowness so you can be calm and everything. This Kool-Aid is good for that. And the cooking oil also gives that type of effect. But the barbecue sauce, the hot sauce, and Italian dressing is basically just to get the THC in your system.
Okay.
So when you get the THC in your system, you won't have to worry about catching the flu and stuff of that nature because THC attacks all the impurities that's in your blood that's not supposed to be there.
Wow.
So once you kind of like get the THC in your system, and like I say, in a 7-day period, if you constantly use these products and you get the THC in your system, you wouldn't, like if you did get a cold, it probably lasts like 24 hours. Okay. Pretty much like that. And everything that, I grow all the plants that go into this. And
everything's in-house?
Yeah, everything, okay. the whole process. And it's all the plants that go into these are all outdoor plants. It's fed water, no special fertilizers. They be talking about organic fertilizers and all that. It can't be organic if it was chemically made.
Right.
So basically, all my plants it's a task, but all my plants is watered with just plain water. Okay. I don't use pesticides or anything. They use a spray mist that they do. It's just made out of peroxide and water. So when it dry with more peroxide, because peroxide kills anything. Okay. Bugs, mildew, what have you. But when it dries into water. It turns into water. So therefore, there's no chemicals whatsoever. And it's all hand trimmed. And there's also no chemicals used to extract the THC from the plants. Okay. So, and like I said once before, the hot sauce and the barbecue sauce and the Italian salad dressing is basically just to keep the THC in your system. And that's what you would use like when you don't want to, you're not looking for that effect. Right. And also, the Kool-Aid is a beautiful thing. Like when you if you one of the people like me that I need to go to bed at night, but I'm gonna be up till 4 in the morning. Right. Yeah. If you need to go to bed early,
take a sip of this Dr. Green Kool-Aid.
Drink this Kool-Aid. Yeah, and you're gonna sleep like a baby. I give you your money back if you don't wake up like, man, this is the best sleep I ever had. I have a variety of customers. Even my daddy and my uncle said they get like 2 gallons a month and they owe me. So just so they can sleep good. And if they don't have their 2 gallons on before the 3rd of the month, they call it me like.
Right. So let's also talk how you incorporated music. I see you have, this is the Trilliano grape flavor.
Yeah, this is the Trilliano edition, and I have the Little Sody edition. So what I do is for the young artists in the community, I give them an opportunity to be on one of the labels. They pick their favorite flavor, and I put them on a label, and they'll get a percentage of every sale. Wow. And I do that just so that helps them with their camp. When they jump in the sprinters and they're going state to state, city to city. Just things, recording studios, whatever they choose to use the money for.
So with all these good products that we have up here, tell everybody where to follow you and where they can order to purchase some of these products.
Okay, well, you can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Green 420. That's DAKTERGREN 420. And my website is Dr. Green, DAKTERGREN.BigCartel.com. And you can go on there and you can make all your orders, or you can DM me if you want to communicate through Instagram, where you can communicate with a human and make your purchase.
And all of those details will be listed below. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you guys follow Dr. Green 420.
All right, and thank you, Jackiie LA, for having me here.
No problem.
Sasha.
See you guys next time.